it's Andre, and this is the ZOHD Drift. We're out. It's a beautiful day. It's just above freezing. I'll probably put my gloves on. A little bit of wind, as you may or may not be able to hear, but we're gonna try the drift out. I've got in the nose 3S 800 on the CG. I have a little 1S FPV, and in the 3S 800 configuration, it is sub 250 gram. I do have the lithium ion pack in my pocket with a wrench and the 2-inch, the 2-blade prop to do that conversion. Gonna fly it line of sight on both packs, try it out, and then I'm gonna jump into a little bit of FPV with it, and we'll see how we like this ZOHD Drift. I'm Andre, ZOHD Drift, let's go flying. So, with the 3S 800 inside the ZOHD, and I love all these little tabs and everything. I've actually put a little piece of foam in there, and that's more for the lithium ion pack, but you see where I've drawn the line, and that's for my CG. And as I mentioned in the build video, I'm just going to close this cap real quick. In the build video, I showed that they put some CG tabs. Look at those two. And that's how you test it. So I'm going to stand into the wind and just see if I've got my CG good. I probably can come a little bit far forward, a little more forward with that battery actually. No, that's, it's a little harder in the wind. Now that's nice. That'll work. I've got all my trims and settings and everything. Not sure how they're going to react, so I'll take off on my medium rates, 30% expo across the whole thing. And in this wind, sub 250 could be interesting. The wind is going that way, so that's how we're going to try and fly this. So let's do this. All right, remote on. I'm going to go with my medium rates. They call for like, what, 8mm movement on all the control surfaces, which isn't huge, and I may, based on the wind, actually, there's my little piece of foam, you'll see that in use when we try the other battery. I may actually move the battery a tiny bit more forward, just to give me a little extra CG forward, particularly in this wind, and it's a maiden, so it doesn't hurt to have a little bit extra nose weight. Again, 3S 800, these are XT30 connectors, and all together, sub 250 grams. I like this little notch, that's for the antenna. Isn't that cute? Someone was paying a lot of attention when they designed some of these little features. Wires in the way. The FPV camera, I'm gonna have to straighten out before I fly FPV. It's just kind of wedged in there. I haven't even glued it, but I guess I would glue it in place. It would be nice and stable. Some ventilation holes throughout the whole thing, and little vents in the back. And I love the fact that everything is magnetic. And there's a little ESC, which is just a little 30 amp ESC. The motor's a Sunny Sky 1406, 2600 kV, and I'm spinning a 3-inch 353, something like that for the prop. And when you go to the 2S, you spin a 5-inch, I believe. So, or it could be a 4. What is it exactly? It's a 3x5 3. Yeah, there we go. So I was correct. Haha. You have elevator, right, left, up, down. You have no rudder. Hey, look at that. It even moves on the ground. Cool. There's lots of little punch on this guy. I'm running my medium rates just to try it out. The wind is this way. It's not bad at all. Don't have my gloves on. Slow down there. So, they say right in the manual, this thing is a cruiser. There's no need to fly it like a Banshee race plane. Ooh, I think I trimmed the tree there. I'm noticing my elevator is super sensitive, so I might dial in some extra expo into that. I'm at 30%. I think I'm at like 80% on the rates, or 80 on my rates on my mediums. Low rate. Let's go into low and see how she goes. That's not bad. Little bit of up elevator, a little bit of woo. I think I'm gonna, that elevator could be really dialed back, which is nice to see. So you've got lots of throw. Oh, I'm gonna slow it down. I'm gonna come through the pocket. I'm gonna keep slowing it down. See how slow we can make this thing go. That's about its stall. That's just under half throttle. Watch it on the tailwind pushes it down a bit. I'm gonna give it a little bit more power. Not bad. You know what? It's too bad this thing doesn't have a rudder, because it would be really sweet with a rudder. But, for sub 250 grams, see if I can get it through and get it on that low camera. I'm missing my rudder, unfortunately. All right, try to back up so I can get it on the low camera, but you see it from this view just fine. You know, this is pretty sweet. Like I said, just watch it on the tailwind. Tailwind tends to push it around a little bit. There we go. See if I can get it lower. I'm liking this thing a lot.
3 minutes.
I just set my timer to 5. I do have my battery checker on me, so I can see what it'll do on an 800, but like I'm just milking the throttle. Let's try some right turns here now. You can see the wind, the wings dancing around a bit in the wind. Not bad though. Coordinated turn kind of thing. Woo. And the wind, it'll chop it around, but it's still flying. I mean, it's not an impossible amount of wind, but it's definitely flying it. Or flying in it at least. Very cool. I like this. All right, let's turn this around. Let's get it up into the wind and just see what happens to power off gliding. All right, power off. And so like I said, I could do with a little bit of trim, a little bit to the right. Oh, I don't have my ESC parked. It's not on brake mode, so it's just windmilling around. Well, look at that glide. That is not bad at all. Oh, you could definitely have a lot of fun soaring around on a good warm evening. What a novelty if it was warm outside, huh? Although tomorrow is supposed to be beautiful, but so far I'm really liking this thing. Like I said, I'm gonna try the lithium ion pack, the 2S pack, and just see how it feels after this flight. And then I'll probably switch back to 3S and put the FPV to use and get some FPV on board. Not bad at all.
One minute.
Smooth flying plane. I'm really liking the drift. And it came together so easy. In the build video, you saw how the tail section just snaps into place. It has a limit, so you can't push it too far. It's just screwed in, and it goes together. So it will break apart quickly too. And you know, if you're crazy enough, you could probably put a little bit of I've got my timer. I'm going to change that down to 10-second timings. You could probably make like a nice little foam insert and then keep everything nice and safe. I'm going to see how well I can land this thing. I won't try and catch it, but I'm curious to see if we can just like glide it in. Oh, look at that. I probably could catch it if I was crazy enough, but I'm not going to get it to the camera. But close enough. I'll take that. That was awesome. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. The Drift, the ZOHD Drift is a really sweet little airplane. Okay, let's do a quick conversion to 2S and see how that goes. I'm actually kind of curious to see how the 3S pack did after a 5-minute flight, so I could kind of get a gauge of it. Of course, I'm kneeling in the mud. Where did I put my tester? All right. So that was just forward of my CG line, and that seemed to work out okay. I'm sure I could do with a little bit more rear CG and tune it. And Oh, we still have 4 volts. So this thing would go for 8 minutes or more easily. That's really nice to know. I'm doing quick, simple flights so my hands don't get too cold. All right, let's convert this thing over to the 2S pack. Here's the lithium ion pack, which is kind of cool and interesting. I've never flown on these guys, but like I said, for this airplane, you have to convert it over, and that means taking out some tools. And you have to change the prop. So I have a prop, and this is a 5x5, but I think it's a 4-inch prop, and I need a wrench to do this. So it's one of those, you make a decision. Are you going sub 250 or are you going above the 250 limit, just a tiny bit over, and getting some insane flight times? Again, I'm just gonna do the experience and see what it feels like, and we can go from there. If I like it in the lithium ion configuration, I might just leave it like that, but I suspect we will like it in 3S. The ESC actually has a JST, so it's probably able to supply a 5-volt power to your, don't lose your nut. It's probably able to supply power to the to your FPV gear if you want to put in more than a bigger piece of kit. I'm having issues getting the prop off. It is on there good. Come on. I don't want to break anything, and it's super cold. Darn. So I ran into a small problem when I went to try and switch between the 2 props. The 3-blade prop is on, they're way too tight, and I don't have the right tools in the field to address it. So we're going back flying with the 3S setup for now. The 2S, the lithium ion pack flight, will have to come on a later date. I think I need a really small, thin screwdriver just to get in there between the motor and the prop and try and pop all that out. Didn't want to break the prop, didn't want to do any harm to the motor or the frame, because it's pretty fragile in that spot. Like, you don't want to be reefing on it, as I said in the build video. So, oh well, I guess we'll go flying on 3S, have a little bit of fun. Brought out the FPV gear, so we'll do a little bit of that for the second part of this video. It happens, gotta improvise and have a little bit of fun. Let's go flying. So yeah, this area here, as I was just saying, you want to be delicate with, and I just couldn't get anything inside, and I didn't want to break that prop, and you're trying to hold on to a really thin can and everything, and just didn't want to do it. It's not a field operation. So I think it's one of those things where you either fly it on 3S and then you switch over and fly it, do it all in the shop and everything, when you can have this on a bench and it's warmer and everything. And I just, like I said, I pulled the nut off, and I just could not get that prop off, and I didn't want to do any damage. So we're going to throw an onboard camera on, we're going to do a little flying, and then we're going to jump over to FPV. So yeah, my little 720 cam to the rescue. I would love something super light in the HD realm, but this is what I've got, so we will make it work. I'll move the CG a tiny bit more forward with this one, because the weight of the camera and the battery and everything. I don't know how this plane's going to react to having a camera on it, but I'm pretty center lined, so I'm hoping that doesn't cause me too many issues. Alright, shove all this down there. I like the fact that this is channeled, so you can stick the batteries vertically if you need to. That is my little tether cords. I have these on all my cameras. Okay, let's get that rubber band inside. There we go. All right, drift flight number 2. Oh yeah, even with the camera on board, it's not bad. I'm on my low rates. As I said, I might do a little tweak to the radio for the elevator. But otherwise, even with a camera on board, it's doing all right. So it's unfortunate we couldn't do the 2S setup, but I'll get out and we'll do another flight very soon. Very responsive aircraft, even with that additional little bit of weight. So that's kind of cool. That tells me that it'll probably fly even better with the 2S pack, the lithium-ion pack. Just that little extra weight above the 250 gram, but it's probably, and maybe that forward CG is giving it a hand too, because it feels a little nicer on this flight with that extra little bit of weight. So who knows? I didn't reset the timer on my radio, so it's probably going to be barking at me about at 30 seconds. But we'll do a couple quick circuits, and then I'm going to go under the goggles. Getting my confidence now. I'm shooting the gaps and everything. Woo! Very fun. I'm sure the onboard is kind of giggly and fun and everything. Maybe I'll leave the onboard when I do the FPV and make it that much more interesting. But very stable. My controls, I'm probably putting in just a tiny bit of up elevator and a little bit of aileron input. But so it's not completely hands off, but it's still, given the wind, given the weight and everything and the speed of moving around, it's not bad at all. All right, let's land this. Let's set up the FPV and let's have a little bit of fun. I gotta go around one more time. FPV time. Keep this video as simple and short. I should have tried to catch it. Time for a little FPV with the ZOHD Drift. This is going to be so much fun. Woo! Hey, nice. Oh, that was really smooth. Oh, won't go too far out because this is just a little 1S FPV setup. Here we come, flying to myself. Oh yes, I love flying FPV. I love flying sub 250. You know, analog is okay. I'll stick with it for a little bit longer. There's my shadow. There's GoPro somewhere out there. Don't want to hit that. I can hear myself throttling out a little bit. I gotta cover a little bit more throttle there. Into the wind. And I can't quite see the trees. I don't have my goggles 100% set up, so I gotta... you get some altitude with this thing too. It's not bad up here. I'm playing around with the inputs and it feels nice. It feels stable. Good little airplane. I think it's hilarious how that camera blots out the sun, makes it into a black dot. Not a race craft, not a race ship, not a race ship. Gotta remember that. It's handling the weight surprisingly well with that extra little camera on board.
1 minute.
Yeah, well, and I know the timer isn't accurate. It's not bad at all. It'll bank really nice. Very much a yank and bank. It would have been nice to have rudder, but again, that's extra complexity, extra setup. Wow. So, the Drift, I'm running a 3S800, keeps it at the sub 250. It's got that 3-inch tri-blade, and it really is quite nice. I'm just having fun just putzing around. My FPV is just a little 25 milliwatt 1S power, and I'm running a little 4-channel FR Sky compatible receiver, which was super tiny, having no range issues. I just can fly around and have a good time. This is a full pack. I know we can do about 8 minutes. I just got my timer set for 5 still. Even with this wind picking up, it's doing so well. Woohoo! Nice. All right, Let's bring this thing in, land it. No one in my way, great. Let's just cruise it. Actually, no, hold on. I'm gonna try some through the gaps. I can not really see that tree very well with these guys. This FPV, unfortunately. Oh, you can feel the wind then. Woo! Milk that power. Okay, I gotta come into the side. I see me. I can feel that wind, and I'm kind of like leaning in. Ah, super! That was so good. Where am I? I'm Andre, and this is the ZOHD Drift. It handled the conditions out here really good. Huge shout out to Great Hobbies for sending this over for review. I had a lot of fun. Really like the design, really like how it's set up. Sub 250 grams. Stay tuned for that 2S lithium ion test. I didn't want to try and break the prop off or anything like that out here in the field. So that will be coming. Really enjoyed the FPV experience. Can't wait to see how the onboard looks. I'm Andre, ZOHD Drift. Thanks for watching.